the saddest stories in world football is currently unfolding. German giants Schalke are on the cusp of bankruptcy. 165 million euros in debt, and currently in the Bundesliga 2 relegation battle. This means that if they are relegated down to the third division, they will be unable to register themselves. This, of course, due to their debt, and which essentially means that Schalke will have to restart as an amateur club. We are not letting that happen though. Today, we are going to clear Schalke's debt and restore them as the biggest club in German football. Join me on one of the toughest challenges in channel history. On paper, this team isn't shocking. I mean, Schalke were literally in the Bundesliga last year, but in real life, things just aren't going their way. EA have given us 18 million euros as our current budget, but I'm trying to keep as much of this in my back pocket as possible. Our current debt is 165 million euros. We need to make improvements to this side, but we need to make them smart here, which is why we went straight to the free agents list. Marko Stamenic, the Kiwi midfielder, joining us here on a free transfer. But I do plan on converting him to a center midfielder. Trying to get some of the young players to grow in their overall though. A 2-year loan for KK Top. The thing is, even if some of these young players don't have the craziest potential in the world, I'm still trying to get as much value out of them so we can sell them on eventually and get more of that budget lifted. And unfortunately, this means we have to sell some of our older, more experienced and well-known players. Kaminski, the former captain, off to Switzerland, and Dominic Drexler off to Southampton. Another loan move here though, as the young attacking midfielder Asan, this kid looks like a stud, sending him on a loan to Heidenheim. And the goalkeeper Hikarin off to Turkey. Another older, more experienced player, Simon Terode, is out of the club. I just can't say no to 2.1 million euros for a 35-year-old striker. Another older, well-known player out of the club, really getting the youth into the side here. Danny Latza, the 33-year-old midfielder, off to West Brom. And the young Japanese midfielder Kozuki off to Spain. Sometimes, fellas, you've got to spend money to make money. We're going to get ourselves a new centre-back in here, not breaking any world records by any stretch, but it is the Austrian defender Flavius Danilic joining us here from the Italian league. And of course, it looks like I overpay crazily for him. His value's gone down to 3.8 million euros. And it hasn't taken too long to turn Stamenic into a center midfielder. It doesn't keep him up. It keeps him at a 71. I was hoping he'd go up to at least a 72 or a 73, but it's all good. I'm just trying to extract as much value out of every player I possibly can so that we can clear this debt as quickly as possible. Which is why we are spending a little bit of money, not a crazy amount of money, but a little bit of money, bringing in as many coaches as possible. That is the opening transfer done and dusted here though with Schalke. All I want is for us to just not get relegated. I'm not worried about getting back up to the Bundesliga this year. I just don't want to get relegated because I'm putting the real life implications on the line here. If we get relegated, video's over, Schalke no longer exists. So this is an unexpected surprise that I don't know how I feel. I mean, I'm feeling very confident now that we're not going to get relegated and that we're not going to get the club completely dissolved. But if we win the league and get promoted to the Bundesliga, I mean, we are going to get some nice money for it, but I'm worried that we're going to have to spend money next year to keep the club up and then we're going to go into more debt. Oh, this is such a double-edged sword. At least this is a better problem to have though than being down the bottom. Let's just see how the second half of the season plays out. Well, we're about to find out firsthand. We have had a completely different season from Schalke in real life. We have won the second division here and we're going back up to the Bundesliga with Schalke, praying that we do not get relegated. RB Leipzig have won DFB Pokal. FC Augsburg have won the relegation playoff over St. Pauli, and Hansa Rostock have won the second division relegation playoff. An unbelievable season though from our striker Brian Lasnay, the Frenchman. The striker position was somewhere I was interested to see what we would do. I was tempted to sign a new striker from the jump, but I'm glad we put the faith in this kid. 13 assists and 11 goals here from our left back as well is brilliant. Stamenic up to a 76. Yes, mate, for a free transfer, we might be able to get some good profit out of this dude. And some decent growth as well from our players off on loan. We'll have to just reassess every year for some of them, whether we keep them or whether we cash in on them. One player we are going to be saying goodbye to is Michael Langer. I was tempted to re-sign him and try selling him off for £180,000, but I don't think anybody would go in for him, to be honest, so we're just going to get rid of him off the wages for now. So taking a look at the current budget after we've done all our contracts, our coaches, all of that jazz, we finished the season with still 16 million euros in the budget, which is going to come off the debt. Every year, the money we haven't spent is going to come off the debt, which which means our debt has gone from minus 165 million euros to minus 149 million euros. Still a long way to go, but bring on season 2 and Schalke's return once again to the Bundesliga. So we enter season 2 and the budget we've been given is 39 million euros. We need to toe the line between bringing players in so that we don't get relegated, but also trying to keep some of this money in the back pocket so that we can slowly continue working at chipping away at this debt. We're going in and making only a few key signings in positions I think we really need them. Another centre back coming in here, Maximilian Bauer, joining us from Augsburg. Unlike last year, we signed Bauer and his valuation goes up, which makes me feel happy. Still trying to sell some of the older players though. Thomas Callas off to the Italian league. Steven van der Sloot off on loan for the year. That name is so fun to say. Cedric Brunner is off, our starting right back from last year, off to Augsburg. The backup centre back Paul Seguin off to the Belgian league for £2.6 million, or euros rather. And I do think we need to go in for a new starting striker here if we want to survive relegation. So we're going to get just shy of 5 million euros here for Kenan Karaman. It's frustrating because I could go and sign a new striker for like 40 million euros here, but I also want to be chipping away at this debt every single year. Well, once we figure that out, we're going to go and get another player loaned out. Another year, another loan for the Wonder Kid, and a loan move here for Joey Muller. But we are going to pick ourselves up our new striker, Igor Thiago, joining us here for 10 million euros, 75 rated, 23 years of age. There's room to grow. He's an upgrade on what we already have, but it also means we keep money in the bank. I'm going to make a move maybe in January. It's really going to depend on the start of this season. If we don't have to buy anybody else, that would be phenomenal. But if we have to and our stinginess doesn't work out, then we have that option as well. But I'm not done selling players here. I'm not done cashing in on our deadwood players, as Tobias Moore is probably going to get more game time and we're going to get more money as he goes to FC Cologne. That's the summer window in the books. We haven't had to spend that much money. We get some nice little upgrades to the starting 11, and I'm hoping that we have enough this year to keep money in our back pocket and work towards the debt and also avoid relegation from the Bundesliga. Let's go find out how we're going on January 1st. All right, our tight-ass strategies are not working at the moment. I might have to invest some money into this squad. The 9 draw, we've had 1 win the entire first half of this season, but the 9 draws are killing us. They are killing us. We have as many losses as 10th placed Hoffenheim. 9 draws is equal with Union Berlin and not even close to anybody else in the league. That is so frustrating. We're going to go in for a new center midfielder here. I've spent a decent amount. I think the most we've spent in this video so far. It's Sven Minans, the Dutch center midfielder, joining us here from AZ Alkmaar. It's 11.1 million pounds. He's 76 rated. He looks like a stud, but we've also kept some money in the budget, and I'm praying that my constant need and desire to keep money in the budget isn't going to bite us in the ass and get us relegated. So here's the current lay of the land with 1 game to go. We currently sit in safety, but we are 1 point ahead of Mainz. We're not going to get automatically relegated, but we could still find ourselves in the playoff. We're facing 18th placed VfL Bochum, which is a huge let up. That is a huge opportunity. And Mainz have Augsburg. Our destiny is in our control though, ladies and gentlemen. A win ensures safety. A draw or a loss puts it in the hands of Mainz and Borussia Mönchengladbach. Here we go. Final day of the Bundesliga season, and Schalke are officially staying up on our own accord. And it's nice to see 2 of our signings here from this season scoring on the final day. So things stay the way they did heading into the final day of the season. Mönchengladbach survive relegation as well. VfL Bochum and Werder Bremen automatically down Mainz in the playoff. And scrolling up the table, looking at who is top of the lot right now, it is Borussia Dortmund, Schalke's rivals, top of the Bundesliga. Dortmund also win DFB Pokal, and Mainz survive the relegation. Taking a look at the Champions League as well, PSG win the Champions League over Liverpool. Tottenham win the Europa League. I've seen it all. And Chelsea are going to win the Conference League. Signing Igor Thiago, though, has saved us this year. 18 goals and 4 assists for our new striker, up to a 78. Lars May as well, getting it done after his heroics in the second division. 10 goals for him. And we will be saying saying goodbye to two more of our older players, Sebastian Polter and the famous, the world famous, the legendary Ralph Farman. He's also retiring. We survived relegation and we managed to keep 20 million euros in our transfer budget after all our departures and signings, which takes Schalke's debt from minus 149 million euros to minus 129 million euros. Our second year in the Bundesliga, and we've been allocated less budget than last year, which is frustrating. So we're going to have to work really hard here if we want to improve this team, but also come away with a little bit of this debt wiped off. Igor Thiago, the thing is, he helped us last year. We could wipe off a lot of debt if we sold him, but I want to keep developing a lot of the players. I think we could wipe off a lot of the debt in like a 1 season period where we get rid of a lot of these players that were built up for like 30-40 million pounds a pop. That's kind of a vision I have in between my ears right now. Schalke do have a great history of developing some of the best talents in the world. And as we sell a lot of our old players off, I want to replace them with a young core of players that we can either sell for a profit down the line, integrate into the starting 11, or just get a cheap million or two eventually down the line. So all of these guys who I found on the free agents, you bet your ass I'm about to abuse the free agents list. I love the free agents. All of these guys joining, with hopefully Fabio Miranda, Magnus Peterson, and Angel Estrada joining down the line as well. We missed out on Fabio Miranda, but we are going to get Magnus Peterson and Angel Estrada in as well. Another year, another loan move for Kazuki off to Fulham. Two more of our not older, but players that I'm ready to cash in on are out of the club. Lino Tempelman off to Celtic for 5.3 million euros. And our left back, he's been quality for us, but he's getting on in age in terms of an EAFC career mode perspective. Thomas Uejan off to Porto. 4.7 million euros is decent. Upgrading in between the sticks here for our first big money signing of season number 3. It is the Danish shot stopper Philippe Jorgensen joining us here from Villarreal. 12.3 million euros. Niels Nkunku, you are a Schalke player, my friend. We're going to bring the Frenchman across here as well from Eintracht Frankfurt. His value goes down a little bit, but I'm very excited to see how we can grow this guy over the next few years. Another middle-aged player that we are cashing in on here. It is the right back, Matriciani, off to Lorient. Make it 3 years in a row for loan moves here for Asan. The Kosovonian attacking midfielder, Idrizi here off to Anderlecht. It took a little longer than I expected in this window, but we are selling Marius Muller here. Ironically, it's to the club that we bought Philippe Jorgensen from, Villarreal. We get 5 million pounds for him. And as expected, a couple of loan moves coming in here for some of the younger free agents we just signed. It's going to be Oliver Posch, the striker, heading to Porto. Angel Estrada heading to Lille. The young Belgian centre-back Finn Bernard off to the Belgian league. And the Swiss shot stopper Brunner off to Sassuolo. Really excited to track the development of these players and see if they grow this year. My little cash cow's out on loan. Busy window in the books though, lads. Let's see how it affects us here in our second season in the Bundesliga. I feel like I say it every rebuild, but please, no second season syndrome. We're in a much better position than we were last year. Instead of having just 1 win, we currently have 3, but we are still in the thick of the relegation battle here this season in the Bundesliga. 15 points, just 3 points clear of the playoff game. And with our right back, Mehmet Khan Aydin, submitting a transfer request, he might have just forced our hand and forced us into upgrading the right back this window. I wanted to get a few more years of development out of Aydin, but unfortunately, he's forced our hand. We've cashed in 8.5 million euros here for the Turkish defender. And that looks to have been a huge blessing in disguise. I'm actually gassed about this. We have picked ourselves up. Oh my god, his value's gone up again. All right, that looks like an incredible bargain. 15.2 million euros here for Lorenz Assignon from Stade Rennais. His value was 18 million when I went to sign him. It's now gone up to 21.5. I'm chuffed about that. That is the big business that is going to hopefully get Schalke out of this debt and hopefully also keep us in the Bundesliga. Beautiful. We've done enough, lads. This is good. This is so much more comfortable than last year. It didn't come down to the final day. We were safe a month before the season ended, and we have finished 12th here in the Bundesliga with Schalke slowly getting back to normality and some sort of stability. Relegated though, it is Augsburg in the playoff. That is a tight window. Augsburg are lucky, but they are still in the playoff game. Hertha Berlin, St. Pauli go down. Mainz survive on the final day. And as we scroll up the table, are Dortmund still the top dogs? They are not. They miss out on back-to-back Bundesliga titles, losing out on goal differential. Bayern Munich have won DFB Pokal. Unfortunately, we went out in the second round. Honestly, I would love if we could start going on some deep runs there, because that's going to mean more money into our budget in prize money. Augsburg survive at relegation. AC Milan win the Champions League. Man City, interesting to see them in the Europa League. And Club Brugge are going to win the Conference League. Everybody's sharing the wealth this year, which is nice to see. Igor, Thiago, and Lasane both getting 15 goals and 14 goals respectively. Sven Minan's a great year for him, already into the 80s. Stamenic, slightly below par, only +1 growth, but still great to see. Estrada only up +1. I mean, I'm trying to get these guys getting some growth. San up to a 73. The biggest grower so far is Kazuki. Posh up to a 72. Bruna up to a 71. These kids, I might have to just keep loaning them out, but they're not growing as much as I kind of hope. Bernard up to a 70. But man, it's almost looking more beneficial to just keep some of these young players here rather than loan them out. This season was a tricky one. We weren't given a crazy big budget, but we finished the season with 13 million euros remaining, which takes our debt from 129 million euros to 116 million euros. It makes sense. We didn't get European football or anything last year, but the fact we've been given exactly 30 million euros again this year hurts. We need some massive circuit breakers if we want to knock a large chunk of this debt off. Derry John Merkin, which is that's a name and a half. He wanted out of the club, so we're going to grant his wish. 3.1 million euros to head to the Dutch league. But we're going to go ahead and spend the majority of our transfer budget on just one guy for the time being in the centre-back role, Ozan Kabak, the Turkish defender, coming back to Schalke. If my memory serves me correctly, Ozan Kabak played at Schalke. We're going to bring him to the club now from Hoffenheim. After a million loan moves, we're finally going to cash in though on Kazuki. £8 million here for the Japanese midfielder. We're not playing a formation with the right midfielder, so we may as well get that money into our budget. Another year, another loan move for Bruna. Hopefully goes up more than 1 overall this year. But the big one, our former captain and centre-back Baumgartel off to Benfica. 8.5 million euros for him. The big Belgian defender Bernard off on another loan. Need him to become a stud, man. Celta Vigo this year. And the striker Kiki Top off to Union Berlin for the year. Keeping it all pretty straightforward here in season 4 though, lads. I've got some pretty big plans that I'm potentially going to pull out next season or the season after. But for right now, this is how the side is looking. Big year for some players. Need to really increase their value. Hopefully I don't know. This looks like a mid-table team if I'm being honest. But if we could make a push for maybe Conference League, that would be really nice. Even if we were to get pulled out in the Conference League group stages next year, at least getting there is going to make our budget just explode next year. All right, I think I'm going to execute on my big idea next season. Watch this space, fellas. We come 11th in the Bundesliga this year, but we need a massive circuit breaker. I want to try getting as close to possible as clearing all of the remaining debt next year. Whether we can do it or not is a different question, but I want to give it a red hot crack because I want us to not worry about money anymore. I want us to get up into the big dog status. I want us to get up to Borussia Dortmund and start controlling the derby we have with them. Dortmund almost go invincible this year though in the Bundesliga. It is FC Cologne and Hamburg going down. RB Leipzig win DFB Pokal. We made it to the quarterfinals this year, which is our best finish to date. VfL Bochum, I feel like St. Pauli have been so close every bloody year. Man City win the Champions League. Bilbao win the Europa. And Sporting are going to win the Conference League. Not a great season for our strikers. 12 goals and 11 goals respectively. I mean, Lasme's gone up nicely. Stamenic up to 14 assists this year, up to an 82. But man, we need some big moves in the next few years if we want to get this debt cleared and win a Bundesliga title. Again, these young players, oh my God, up to a 71 is Bernard. Bruno didn't even go up. What is going on? But yet, Kiki Top goes up to a 77. What is actually going on? And Posh, who I don't even loan out, goes up. Last year, we went from 70 to 72 when I loan him. This year, I don't loan him and he goes from a 72 to a 75. Make it make sense. But one positive coming out of this season is our budget currently is 23 million euros, which for the first time as Schalke owner takes the debt under 100 million euros. We go from 116 million euros in debt to 93 million. Time to put our big plan into effect here in season 5. Slightly more in the budget to start this season, 39 million euros, but we are about to have an almighty transformation this year. I have transfer listed some of our highest rated and highest valued players, and I intend on ending this season with no debt. It might get us relegated in the process, risk, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. Coming out here, I've actually found two really good young defensive midfield prospects. First one that agrees to the contract is the Italian, 17 years of age, 75 overall, Carlo Longo. I'm putting this guy straight into the starting 11. And we found ourselves another 75 rated defensive midfielder here, Aguirre Ponce, Spanish defensive midfielder. I'm bringing him in and immediately throwing him on the loan list. Here since season number 1, but it is time to cash in here on our centre back Flavius Danilic, the Austrian, heading to Osasuna, 13.1 million euros off of our debt and into the budget. Loan move here for Justin Hikarin. I wanted to sell him, but he only wanted a loan move, so we'll loan him and then look to sell him next year potentially. But our biggest transfer profit to date has gone ahead here. Sven Minans, the Dutch centre midfielder, out of the club. That transfer profit, that transfer fee makes eyes water, ladies and gentlemen. 43.3 million euros. You love to see it. A loan move here for Magnus Peterson off to Sporting for the year. Another huge departure and another huge transfer fee. Brian LeMay, the striker who honestly has exceeded my expectations throughout this whole video. 29.4 million euros to send the Frenchman to Augsburg. Leo Grimel, another player who I wanted to sell but only wanted a loan off to PSV for the year. And our Spanish defensive midfielder Ponce off to Hoffenheim on loan. Ron Schallenberg out of the club. He wore the captain's armband for a little bit, but the man that has been here since day one is off to Borussia Mönchengladbach. 14 million pounds to see him head to Mönchengladbach, but his sacrifice may just be the transfer that clears Schalke's debts. A huge transfer window that may have just saved Schalke Football Club. I'm putting a lot of faith into our young players here. Top into the starting 11, Estrada into the starting 11, Longo into the starting 11, and maybe the riskiest of them all, Bernard into the starting 11. 4 young players that probably aren't good enough to be in this starting 11, but I'm so interested to see if we can stay up and if we can go up the table with them in there. But if our debt has been cleared and we survive relegation this year, we will have a free slate and a new lease on life moving forward. This makes absolutely no sense. We finished third. We finished third in the Bundesliga with a skeleton squad. I got rid of half of our top starting 11 players, and we have managed to jump from 11th to a bloody Champions League spot. And we were 3 points off the Bundesliga title. We could have completed the challenge this season. Before I check anything else, I cannot wait any longer. I need to see if we've cleared our debt. Come on, lads! Schalke's debt has been cleared. We've gone from being 93 million euros in the red to now 36 million euros in the green. We've cleared the debt. We are free to spend how we like. And to know we are now we were 3 points off a bloody Bundesliga title this year. We should go all out and try going for it next year. Scrolling down the table, Bayern Munich in 10th there. Bochum and Mainz. Mainz finally bit the relegation battle. And we've won DFB Pokal. Come on, lads. We win DFB Pokal with Schalke. Taking down St. Pauli in the semis. Union Berlin in the quarters, Stuttgart in the third round. This is beautiful. Schalke, we win DFB Pokal. Hertha Berlin survive relegation. Man City win another Champions League title. I'm so curious to see how we go in the Champions League next year. Tottenham win the Europa League. And it was almost an English three-peat, but Monaco defeat Chelsea. Oliver Posch took that starting 11 spot from top and made it his own. 18 goals. He goes up +5 to an 80 overall. Igor Thiago up to an 83. Estrada only up +1, but his stats were incredible. Carlo Longo up +3, but again, his stats were incredible. I am so surprised by how good we were this year. Bernard went up to a 75, which is decent, but if we're going to challenge for a Bundesliga title next year, I probably need an upgrade at the centre back spot. But now with our financial woes out the window, we put all of our attention into winning a Bundesliga title here with Schalke. Bring on the Bundesliga title challenge and bring on the Champions League. We're in the Champions League. We're pushing for a Bundesliga title. We need a big defensive signing. Some of you have probably already worked it out by the face that just popped up on your screen, but it is going to be the German centre-back, Malik Thior, joining us at Schalke. Malik is joining us from Monaco for £56.5 million. He's 85 rated and becomes our new marquee signing. I didn't want to sell him, lads. I didn't want to sell him, but our wonder kid is gone. He had 1 year left on his contract, so Hassan is off to Burnley for 23.2. I'd rather get some money than have him walk on a free. And we are also saying goodbye to Lorenzo Signon. A few decent years here at Schalke at the Veltins Arena, but the Frenchman is heading to AC Milan. Another man that has been here since the early days, who we are saying goodbye to, Maximilian Bauer, swapping the blue and white of Schalke for the blue and white of Brighton. Big day here on our Bundesliga title charge. Not only do we sign ourselves a new right back here in Filippo Terracciano, but we're also going to sign ourselves a new centre back here, Taylor Harwood Bellis, who we pick up on a pretty respectable price of £31.9 million. So we've made some massive upgrades to our squad here, but we haven't. I really wanted to get a new centre midfielder in, but Estrada is going to have to start at the centre midfield role this season. We didn't have enough money to get anybody huge into the side, but overall, things are looking a lot more balanced. I still honestly think, though, we have some work to do if we want to win a Bundesliga title with Schalke. We are in the Champions League this season, though. Man City, Inter, and FC20 is a tough group, but if we do happen to win the Champions League title, I'm definitely changing the title of this video to making it a rebuild, because if we win the Champions League before the Bundesliga, that is mental. Well, this isn't ideal. We are sitting 11th in the Bundesliga here on the 1st of January. That is not what I had envisioned for this season. We're on 18 points. We're only 5 points from the relegation playoff, and we are a long way. We are 22 points away from first place Union Berlin. I don't think we're completing the challenge this year, but I would hate myself if we didn't at least try. We stretch our bank book thin, and we've almost just about put Schalke back into bankruptcy, but Lewis Miley, his value goes up. I mean, we're not really worried about values anymore, but his value goes up, and we get Lewis Miley from Leverkusen for £33 million. If we did manage to win the Bundesliga this year, it would be one of the biggest turnarounds in footballing history, but I just want to head in the right direction. No mid-table. Also, I forgot to check in on the Champions League. How did we go there? We got third in our group, not surprising. Are we going to the Europa League playoffs? We are in the preliminary round against Club Brugge. Oh, that is wildly disappointing, lads. Wildly disappointing. In a season where we had expectations of pushing for a Bundesliga title, we're worse off than we were 2 seasons ago. We finished 12th in the Bundesliga here with Schalke, 41 points. We weren't even close to the relegation zone, but we were so far off the Bundesliga title, which RB Leipzig end up winning. We did add some silverware to the trophy cabinet this year, though, winning the Super Cup, and we lost the final of DFB Pokal. We could have gone back to back. We did win our preliminary round clash with Club Brugge 3-1 on aggregate. Round of 16, we lose to Celtic. 21 goals here for Igor Thiago. Oliver Posch looks like he should be the guy up top as well. Miley, I guess he was at Leverkusen beforehand. I was like, no way he scored 15 goals and 5 assists in the second half of the year, but he was already in the Bundesliga. But man, what a disappointing season, all things considered. There is no way we can afford another disappointing season like that. Get our head back on track. This was just a blip in the road to Bundesliga supremacy. Out the gates, the thing that was screaming to me was the need for a new goalkeeper. We needed a new stud of a goalkeeper here, and Bart Verbruggen, when we saw him available, he had 12 months left on his contract. Nice were willing to sell him on a cheap deal, and we have capitalized. Everybody say welcome to our new shortstopper, Bart Verbruggen. Another departure here, though, Steven van der Sloot, the man with the satisfying name, off to Werder Bremen. But we are saying goodbye once again to Ozan Kabak as the Turkish defender goes to Liverpool for big money. 45 million euros to be exact. And it is time to say goodbye to Jorgensen, Philippe Jorgensen, the goalkeeper. We bring Verbruggen in, and we're going to sell Philippe Jorgensen for a massive 41 million euros to Union Berlin. We've almost quadrupled the money that we signed him for. And for the second year in a row, we are going to make ourselves a massive centre-back signing. Piero Hincapié, the Ecuadorian, joining us here from Tottenham. Another player that we've got with only 12 months remaining on their contract. Hincapié knows what the Bundesliga is all about, having spent some time at Bayer Leverkusen, currently at Bayer Leverkusen in real life. Funnily enough, this weekend, I'm actually going to Germany. I'm going to Leverkusen, and I will be in attendance for the Bayer Leverkusen versus Bayern Munich game, which I'm very excited about. And I'm very excited to see this guy live in the flesh. Piero Hincapié, welcome to Schalke. We need to bounce back. We need to be back in the Bundesliga title picture. Our squad looks a lot better now than it did this time last year, and especially 2 years ago. Come on, Schalke. What can we achieve here in season 7? This is about as exciting as it gets. Final day of the Bundesliga season. Our destiny and the possibility of completing this challenge with Schalke is in our hands. We sit 2 points above above our arch nemesis Borussia Dortmund, 2 points above RB Leipzig, but we have a matchup with Bayern Munich. We need to prove that we are good enough. Bayern Munich, the final day of the Bundesliga season. We win, and we win the Bundesliga title. Come on, Schalke. Come on, Schalke. It's a draw. Is that going to be enough? We've brought it back from 2-0 down as well. Oh my God, is that going to be enough? Dortmund drew? I didn't see the other. It is. Come on, lads. We have done it. Oh my God, I had a mini heart attack there. We have been crowned Bundesliga champions with Schalke. What a journey, lads. If you enjoyed it, make sure you click here to subscribe and click here to watch another video.